Hey Tony, alright, so for this life, it's really interesting. I think you'll like it because it has to do about talking about your healing abilities and being a healer. And so, what we're going to look at where we are, what you did with the majority of your time, an important day, another important day, the death, and the lesson learned. And so, we've gone through a few lives of yours already, and there were a lot of situations occurring that were there was like action involved. And so usually when we get to a few lives down the way in a certain period of time, we're going to see the action kind of subsiding a bit, and it's going to be more about the message of the life. So what we're looking at here is a very kind of peaceable life where it's focusing mainly on healing and who you are rather than very what's it called, like vivid days, like a lot of action or anything. That's not going to happen in this life. And that's usually, honestly, that's the average life. The average life is, potato farmers in Ireland. Like it's a common thing. And so here we're going to be looking at one of those more simpler lives, but still very interesting. And hopefully you'll be able to connect with what's going on with you currently, okay? So we're going to start in the Americas. And I can tell you here we've seen a water theme throughout your lives, and it's funny because here we're going somewhere where it gets very cold and there's ice in South America. And being pulled south and almost like, I want to say there's mild traveling going on, but you're in the think of very south, whatever country that, I think it's Argentina. And there's an area there that is mostly, it's just like snow, it's mostly like rainy, snowy, cold, frigidness for a lot of the year. And I feel like this is the environment we're going to, and it doesn't mean it's not home to you. Like this is home to you. So it doesn't have like a cold feeling to it. It's just that the climate is cold. Okay. So here we have the healer card. So the healer card came up, and once, when you're a healer in this life, by now you'll find that you've been a healer before. And it's interesting because they say like people who find their way to Reiki have been Reiki healers before. So here I feel like what we're going to be looking at here, you can connect with currently in some way. All right. So what they're showing me though here, I want to say that you are male in this life, but because of your empathy and the people you were born into, there's a sense of interchangeability with not that you're a male and female, but that both the male and female counterparts of people are respected and encouraged to come out, because that way, with that kind of balance and that kind of lack of judgment or bias, the people are it allows them to open up more and explore more territory, magic wise or healing wise, energy wise. It allows them to explore and gain more because they're not having to, or in this life you're not having to worry about what you are being perceived as. So you're a male in this life, but there's these trickles of feminine energy coming through you that's allowing for you to be a really all-encompassing healer here. And I feel like there's a feeling of shamanic kind of ritualism in this life happening. So let's go to this first day. And again, this day it's not like something crucial, is going on. It's an important day because the reasoning is it's a day of enlightenment. And I feel like it's a day where even though you grow up with these people doing these rituals and using energy and using their herbal medicines, whatever they do, I feel like it's like a mid-sized community, indigenous people, something with their hair, something having to do with where they shave part of their hair and there's another part that they leave is a common thing happening here. I want to say this is centuries and centuries ago. This is before, I want to say like before discovery, so to speak, of the area by like white man or whatever. Anyway, so this day of enlightenment, it's interesting because even though you're used to all this stuff going on and you know what's coming, there's really nothing like the day of passage into adulthood, so to speak. And I feel like this is the day where you do that and you're welcomed into your tribe now as an adult in a sense, but because being an adult here is not about going and like killing a wild boar. It's more about accepting your abilities and being able to demonstrate them, and also heal others, like show that, like basically what they're saying, what they're showing me is like you're okay, so there's like a circle happening and someone is being brought to you on a cot rather than you going to a sick person. I feel like this person is being brought to you for this demonstration, and you're in the center and you take, and this is not like an easy fix. It's kind of a summoning of your energy, and there's a placement of your consciousness going into this person to first find the parts that are problematic within him, to target them, to understand what his body is going through. And through that, the knowledge you gain is what tells you what you need to do medicinally. And so I do see you doing medicinal healing here. And I feel like some of the things you use are purely ritualistic and really not necessary, but most of what you use has to do with using energy in a way that is that you can utilize energy in a way almost like you infuse energy in whatever you're doing, like giving to him. It's almost like, because I don't want to say herbalist, but it's almost like an herbalist, but like a alchemist, kind of like that, like an alchemist, someone who's like mixing, I hate the word potions, but like mixing together like elixirs or things of natural substance for people to take, like tonics. You're working with tonics, and you're able to feel what the person needs in their tonic. And I feel like you have a range of tonics that you've developed. It's almost like back in these days, it's a line of medicine, like a brand name, like a line of fashion clothing. I feel like your specialty here, you came up with like a line of medicines that are really effective. They're like a step up from the generation before. And so this is so you're very respected for that, even though you're really young here. I want to say you're like really young, like for what you're being awarded, so to speak. Like this day, like usually somebody would be, I wouldn't say into their midlife of this time, but I feel like you are considered one of the youngest to do this because there's something very innovative about your spirit, and it's almost like you are a fresh line of you're the new generation, and with you it's like you and the people that are your age, your tribe or your community can tell that it's a whole new kind of human coming in, so to speak, energetically. And so it's the feeling of how children today are being brought in to raise the vibration. I feel like you're part of a line of children that came in during this time to raise the vibration. I want to say this is like, I feel like we're looking at like the 1200s, 1300s, like really, really long time ago. And so the people involved are friends right here, and this card is the confidence card. And it's because it's like you were born knowing your abilities, and all you've been doing this whole time is honing them and playing with them because you already know they're there. So there's no like doubt in your mind. And so in your current life, try to connect with that feeling of not doubting yourself and of being confident in what you're feeling or what you're perceiving and what you want to try doing as far as building your abilities or going after a certain kind of modality that you might be interested in. just have confidence, just allow yourself to be confident and allow yourself to acknowledge there is self-doubt maybe because, we're only human, but acknowledge it and let it go. Because it's not necessary, it only hinders you. Because there's something you're able to do that's it should feel very natural, and because an ability or a healing ability, whatever it is, this thing might feel natural to you, but because of the time we're living in and because of maybe the society we're in, you feel like it shouldn't feel natural, and so you're putting up your own barriers in saying to yourself something like, I don't know why this is natural, I'm just imagining it, I don't know why this is, why I would feel this way, so it's not real, it's just my imagination kind of thing. So allow that to just go away and just trust yourself and start doing what you're supposed to be doing or what you feel is natural to you, alright? So anyway, with this day, you do introduce, you have this, I feel like you do mix this tonic, and it's in front of people. And I want to say these are, like, the people are like the elders and medicine healers and the rest of the healers of the tribe, and they watch you with respect. And also, there's going to be some older folk that are kind of giving you the eye, so to speak, like, what the heck is he doing? But again, that I feel like is a mirror in today's society of people who are very, they're the highly skeptical people who may not, really understand what you're doing. And again, that comes in with the whole needing new friends, possibly, or exchanging old ones for new ones who understand you, or who, at least if they don't understand you, still accept you and encourage you. So this next important day here. So this is the war card, and it means a war is in sight, or there's a war that's right here happening, and it can also mean internal battles. And the card we have with it is the soul group. So these are people that are part of your soul group that you go through lives together with. And the card here is grateful. And I'll tell you right away what's happening is that there's a group of people you work with, and this is years after your official, like, initiation into the healing society of your community. And there's something about, it's like protecting your people, and you're doing this through energy, through chant and meditation with these other people. And I feel like you're doing this inside something like a structure, and I feel like the structure is very near and dear to your people. I feel like it's ancient. I feel like it's almost like you're sitting within a room within a pyramid of some sort, and that's all I'm really getting. But it's like a dark room, and you're lighting it with, there's fire there, and it's almost like within your community there is a very secretive society where not even all of the healers really know about it. They're approached, and it's almost like taboo because this community is very open and accepting. So for you to have learned that there's even a secret society within the society of healers themselves, it's a big deal, and there's a lot of power that goes within the society. And you also find that the friends you were born with that are also healers, there are few of them who come into the society with you because of the energy you brought into this world. The society, the people in the society, they can sense it. These are very advanced people. They're very aware of, they're very aware that being human is just part of a game, and that it's really about soul work. And this is just like the next level up, and you're part of this society, this very small segment of community. And I feel like nobody knows this, but because of the work you do with these people, you're able to ward off negative energies in the way that causes protection to your people, if that makes sense. And the soul group comes up because it's not everyone in the society, but it's almost like the ones that were born in the same year as you and that you grew up throughout childhood with. There's something like a contract that was made with you to go through and do this work in this life together. It's almost like you made a pact before incarnating into this life that you would come in and work together in this way in order to just kind of help raise this vibration at this time. So there are periods of history I know that vibration has been raised in the world, and I don't know if there was one point in around the 1200s or so, but maybe we can look that up and see if there's another like vibratory raise like there's going on right now, so to speak. So just keep that in mind. And the gratefulness is an all resounding gratitude, not just from you and the society and the healers, but like there's a inner sense of gratitude from the whole community at large who feel protected, who feel special. I feel like this community is, it's like, okay, so there's this this story of the Mayans, or a group of people like ancient natives that all ascended together into another dimension, into the higher dimension, and I feel like this could possibly be part of a group like that, or that group, because there's something very isolated about this community, and it's very important that they remain isolated in their goodness, because there's something where everyone is trying to work together to achieve harmony in a way that I feel like is not quite common during this time outside of this community. So just keep that in mind as well. So what we have here for your death is interesting because it's the murder card, but it's interesting because this isn't someone murdering you. You end up taking your own life, and it's oddly, it feels like an accident, but it feels like an accident that you knew may happen. It's almost like you're taking a risk in brewing or concocting something that you really thought, if it was done a certain way, it would help heal in an amazing way, almost like the cure for AIDS or something like that. Like this was like a big deal. And you knew that in trying this concoction or trying this new healing modality, you would potentially get hurt, but I don't think you really anticipated the death. And it's kind of like if it was brewed even just like an hour longer, it wouldn't have been a death. So it's just very interesting. It's like you were on the cusp of something. And what's interesting too is your death was not, it was painful. It was a stomach issue. There was a cramping involved and purging. So keep that in mind as far as your current life. If you have sensitivities to certain liquids or foods or chemicals in foods. But what's interesting about this death is I feel like when you died, you kind of stayed on board with the community in spirit, because I feel like you were continuing to guide and mentor others in achieving their healing capabilities as well. I feel like you stayed on until, I want to say you stayed here in like spirit form. You stayed to guide them because there was communication happening. It wasn't odd for them. They were aware that, that they could communicate with you in that form. And I feel like you stayed on with your friends, your soul group that was here in this life. I feel like you stayed on until it was their time to pass so that you can all go together. It's very interesting. So this card, this is the Simplicity card. And so what's good about this is it kind of, obviously this was a simple life. It really was. It was magical and powerful and wonderful, but it was still very simple living. And there's a message in that. There's a message in living simply and yet experiencing amazing things, even living simply, if that makes sense. Almost like you don't need all of this stuff around you. You don't need, gadgetry and entertainment and all this stuff outside of you to achieve what you want. And there's also a big message in the simplicity for you in your current life as far as getting out of your own way, as far as not making things more complex than they need to be, as far as allowing things to just kind of emerge or be. And it's about a state of allowance. Following a simplicity message is about being in a state of allowance, not striving after things, not taking, putting forth so much effort because you just, like, because you think that's what is needed in order to achieve or get to the place where you need to be. Really, it's about allowing and letting things be. There's something about the simplicity that will help you. Something about simplicity that is going to help you get what you want, be where you want to be, achieve what you want to achieve, learn what you want to learn. There's something about that instead of making things more complex than they have to be, if that speaks to you. So hopefully some of this makes sense and you can make connections. And I hope you enjoyed this past life, and I'm looking forward to the next. So have a great day.